Hello, it's good to see you. Today we are back with another theoretical neighborhood update. I know I don't normally do this many, but I'm normally not stuck here at the house all day. I have decided that at some point I died and I'm in hell, and I just don't know it yet. You know, they say when you're dead, you don't know it. I'm starting to think that maybe that's what's happened. That is a remarkably self-centered way to look at this whole thing, but not as self-centered as another person that I'm theoretically going to tell you about in a little bit. But you know, today it has become very clear to me that everyone's here. Like everybody on my street is home. All their kids are home. The ones who have kids in college, they're here. This place is crawling with bored, frustrated people. And it's starting to kind of seep out into the neighborhood a little bit. Okay, I don't know if you have been following these updates, these theoretical updates that may or may not actually be true and real. There's a guy who lives on the next street over, and we're going to call him Trip. He looks like his name would be Trip with two P's at the end. You know, his dad probably refers to him as Sport, and he probably has a trophy collection in his room, although he's about 32. Yeah, that's Trip. Well, Trip spent the morning out working on his new bike. You know, he has the wing bike. He has this motorcycle that makes this noise like wing, 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 wing. You know, it's really loud. And he'll roll it out. He lives with his parents. He'll roll it out. He has a Tesla as well. He'll roll it out in the driveway, theoretically, and start it up. Wing, 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 wing. And he'll do that for about 10 minutes. And it's really loud and really annoying. And then he'll just put it back in the garage and go back in the house. Or he'll pose on it, he will sit on it and take pictures of himself on the bike, and then he rolls it back in the garage and goes in the house. It's very rare that he ever actually rides it anywhere. He mainly just likes to hear the sound of it and to take pictures of himself while he sits on it. That's basically all he does with the wing bike. Well, I made a little short clip not too long ago. Trip got a vroom bike. Now this bike is louder. I don't know what kind of motorcycle it is. I don't know. But it's louder. It's not like a Harley. It's not that kind of loud. But it's a loud motorcycle. And he's been working on it, theoretically. I don't know what's wrong with it. If there's something wrong with the vroom then the wing bike always runs fine as far as I can tell. It starts and he can wing it and then put it away, but it's very weird. I don't know what he does for a living. He wears cargo shorts 7 days a week, even in January. That doesn't really tell me anything, but he does have the wing bike, the vroom bike, and a Tesla. So he must be doing pretty well for himself. I have no idea. And maybe his parents bought him. I don't know. It's none of my business. But I like to be observant. You can call me nosy, that's fine. I prefer the term observant. I like to know what's going on in the area. But when you make videos from home, you become very aware of all the noise in your vicinity. And it can be a real problem, especially when you're on a schedule like I kind of was today. I had a schedule. I had a video I wanted to do around lunchtime today. Well, Trip messed that up. Trip and some of the neighborhood kids ruined that for me. Trip was out kind of like Joe was with his lawnmower when he was beating on it with a pipe wrench. Trip was doing a similar thing with the vroom bike around lunchtime. Only he threw in lots of screaming and profanity at the same time, theoretically. He was out in the driveway beating on the vroom bike with a hammer or something. I don't know. It was some sort of blunt object made of metal. I don't know what it was. But he was out there swearing at it, beating on it. I think he started crying at one point. because it would start, but it wouldn't keep running. It would choke down, and he kept messing with it and messing with it. And his dad even came out there at one point because he got so loud, and I was outside putting birdseed in the feeders, and I heard his dad go, "Now look, you need to keep it down. Somebody's got to call the cops." And he said, "I don't give an F if they call the effing cops. Maybe the cops can fix my effing bike." And I'm going, dude, my God. So he was out there just beating on this poor motorcycle. That went on off and on for about 3 hours this afternoon, hypothetically. I don't know if he ever got it started or not. My older son went for a walk earlier and said the bike was no longer in the driveway. He didn't see the bike anywhere, and Trip wasn't anywhere to be found. So maybe he took it back in the garage and gave up. Maybe he got carted off to jail. I don't know. Don't know what happened to that. So I was not able to do that. But even if he had not been doing that, there are some kids down the street that run up and down the street, and they have these little scooters, the little racer scooter doohickeys. And they ride their scooters up and down the street just screaming at one another. I mean, there are 3 of them. There are 3 boys, and I think they're brothers, but I'm not sure. And they just scream. They don't speak to one another. They just scream at each other at the top of their lungs over and over. They're just going up and down the street chasing one another and just screaming. Traffic can be coming, and they just, they'll move, but they're kind of slow about it. It's like they're daring somebody to hit them. And their parents don't seem to care, theoretically. You don't ever see the parents out there. I think the parents just get sick of these kids, and they just shoo them out the door, and they don't care. It's like, just get out of the house. We don't care if you irritate everybody on the street. Just get out. So they rode up and down the street on their scooters, screaming that went on for about 2 hours as well. And I don't see how they're not hoarse. Like, I get hoarse just listening to these kids. Like, how do you scream constantly and you never get hoarse? They'll be out there again tomorrow doing it. They've been doing it pretty much every day, but they did it longer today than they normally do. So I did not get to make my video. And then later on in the afternoon, I had some work-related stuff to do. I do have a day job. I do actually have a day job, which I can do most of it from here. Some of it I cannot do from home. A lot of it I can. And it turns out that one of my coworkers is out with a non-plague related medical issue. They don't know how long she's going to be out. She's on leave, so we don't know how long she's going to be gone. But while she's out, I'm going to have to start doing work every day. I normally only work 3 days a week, but I'm going to start doing work every day from here, doing some stuff that she does normally, but she's not going to be here. I just found that out this morning. I logged in to check my email, and there was this whole string of emails about it, and like, wow, okay. Which is actually good. It's a good thing. I'm actually really happy about it. Because I don't know if you watch other YouTubers, and maybe it's not happening to everybody, but since all this, stuff got going, my ad revenue has dropped by about 30%. It's put a big dent in my ad revenue. My views are up, subscribers are up, everything is up except the ad revenue. The ad rates are going down because nobody's buying ads right now. So I actually don't mind working more. It was I didn't mind seeing that. I said, oh, cool, and then maybe I can get some more hours, so that'd be good. Theoretically, that would be good. That was a bit of a relief because it's scary to sit here and watch your money just go down and down and down. I haven't even looked at my 401k. Like, I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just not looking at it because I know it's bad. That's my retirement that I've been putting money into for over 20 years. And I know it's really bad. Yeah, I'm not looking at it theoretically at this point. I don't even want to know how bad it is. I think there's going to be a ripple effect, and I think it's going to be pretty global. Theoretically, it might be a good idea to take a look at your budget and see if you can get rid of anything and save some money. I've started doing that myself. Hypothetically, it might be a a good thing to do, even if you're not affected yet, even if it hasn't impacted you personally. Might not hurt to do it, because I think eventually it's going to hit you. If nothing else, inflation is going to hit you if nothing else does, and your money's not going to be worth as much. But I've been going over my budget and tightening up a bit. So that's what I spent my afternoon on, since I couldn't make the video I wanted to make. I'm hoping I can do it tonight. I kind of got, I was in the zone, like I wanted to do it, and then I got to where I didn't want to do it, but it didn't matter, because the dude over here, there's a guy over here who lives kind of catty corner to me. Now, he mows religiously every 5 days. He mows his yard. Hypothetically, it doesn't matter if it's pouring down rain, he mows the yard every 5 days. At the same time, every 5 days. Well, he was out there today. Now, normally it takes him about an hour and a half to mow and weed eat and use the leaf blower. He was out there for almost 4 hours mowing, and he went over the whole yard meticulously twice. He mowed the entire thing 2 times, and then went around everything with the weed eater with the precision of a surgeon. It was unreal. I expected him to get tweezers out, like, what are you doing? And of course, everything is noisy: the lawnmower, the weed eater, the leaf blower. So, and it's close enough to the house that I can't make a video with that noise in the background. I know these are petty complaints, but when it keeps you from doing what you plan to do, it can be very frustrating. So it is now after 8 o'clock, and it's just now quiet in the neighborhood. The vroom vroom bike is probably deceased, lying in a pile in the garage up there. The kids went in the house. Dude is done mowing. This is the first time all day, I'm talking since I got up this morning, this is the first time it's been quiet all day. Yeah, if it sounds like I'm self-centered, it gets worse. I've noticed, and I don't know if it's just me, but theoretically, I've noticed that a few of my Facebook friends are going off the rails a little bit over this. I have a couple, maybe. This may or may not be true. One of them is a little bit like Harvest, but not completely. She's not a sanctimommy per se, but she can be sometimes. She's not the person that Harvest is based on. Harvest is actually based on 2 people who used to be a part of my life but no longer are. Thank goodness, because it's funny to play a character like that, but it's not fun to deal with that kind of person in real life. Well, there was one friend, and she and I have been Facebook friends for years, and haven't really had a problem with that. I know her from a previous time in my life. It's not somebody I see on a regular basis or anything, but if you follow my Facebook page, my channel's Facebook page, I've been posting funny memes and pictures, and I mean, it's all I know to do. I don't really have anything else to offer. So, people send me funny pictures, or I see them just on the internet wherever, and so I just post them on my channel's Facebook page. And a couple of them I posted to my own page, and I have to call this person something. What can I call her? We'll just call her Jane. Okay, so Jane. Jane is one of the people who back in February was saying, oh, it's just the flu. It's no worse than the flu. You people are hysterical. Calm down. Okay, so she was saying that, but at some point she flipped. I don't know if it finally hit her, what was going on. I don't know, but she suddenly started to freak completely out. And anybody who posted anything even remotely funny about what's going on, she would just lay into them. I mean, she would post screeds, like an epistle, like paragraphs about what a horrible person they are to joke about such a terrible thing. And I posted something. It was something about, I think it was something like, I'm homeschooling my kids, and we've been homeschooling for 2 days, and one has already been expelled or something. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. if they're actually doing fine. They have these online classes, and it was kind of rocky the first week. It was kind of weird. We were having trouble getting their assignments and stuff, but it's kind of started to smooth out a little bit. This is the third week of it. But it was just a joke. I wasn't being serious. So Jane comes along and replies to my little thing, and she goes, "Well, whatever you're dealing with, it's just payback for whatever you probably did as a child to your mom." And I'm going, where did that come from? Payback? All this is okay. And I ignored it. I didn't respond. I just kind of left it alone. And then I guess she didn't like the fact that I didn't respond, because then she came back and said, "You don't know what it's like to, go through hard times with children. You don't know what it was like for me when I was this as an older person. You don't know what it was like for me when my children were small. Whatever you're going through, whatever's coming for you is nothing compared to what I had to endure raising my children. And theoretically, I might have decided to go ahead and bite." And I said, "Oh, okay, Jane, what did you have to go through?" And she said, "Well, like I said, you wouldn't understand, because you work outside of the home and you're not really raising your kids. I stayed at home with my children." Sorry, it's not the sickness, it's pollen. So she said, "Yeah, well, I stayed at home with my children. So, I was more invested in raising my children. I put in the work to really raise them right. And you've been working outside of the home since they were born, and you let other people raise your kids. So you are never going to understand how much harder it was for me." Hang on a minute. So I really didn't want to get into it with Jane. This is a person that I've been friends with for many years, theoretically. I didn't want to get into it with Jane. And then there was a second person who kind of started to take Jane's side at this point. We'll call her Laura. So Laura sides with Jane and said, "Yeah, Mary, no offense, but you people today don't know how hard it was for us, us people who raised kids in previous generations. And I think I understand better than some people my age do. I mean, I grew up around older people. I spent most of my time around my elders as a child. The only time I ever spent around other kids was when I was in school. And I listened to all the stories, and I know it was hard for them. But it's not like it's a contest. It's not like you're going to get a trophy for it. I don't see the point in trying to out misery somebody else. I don't really know what kind of weird one-upsmanship that is. Hypothetically, Jane just would not let it go. So she said, the whole thing about, well, you work outside of the home, so you didn't really raise them anyway. You don't know how hard it was for me. My life was way harder than yours is right now. And it made me mad. It theoretically ticked me off a little bit, because, I'm feeling the strain of all this now. I said, "Yeah, we're not going through anything right now. We just have this, worldwide pandemic going on. We don't know how it's going to turn out. Millions of people are losing their jobs. My retirement is evaporating. I can't go anywhere. My own financial future is shaky and uncertain, and that scares me. And I am solely financially responsible for 2 children and myself, and I don't get any help from anywhere else or anyone else. Yeah, there's nothing scary or hard or stressful about that." And she came back and said again, "That's nothing. What you're going through is nothing. Your biggest problem is that you have to stay home with your kids all day for the first time in their lives. That's why you're stressed out." And theoretically, that was the last straw. And I thought, It's Facebook. It's stupid Facebook. I don't need this in my life. I don't need people like this in my life. So I didn't respond to Jane anymore. I deleted the entire thread because I don't feel like having that out there. And I blocked her and unfriended her from Facebook. And it's a shame because, like I said, we've been friends for years. And Laura, after Jane said that, even Laura came back and said, "Whoa, Jane, hang on a second. You know, it's a little more serious than you're making it out to be. How bad was it for you that you think it's worse than what's going on now? Wow, you know, you were married, and as far as I know, you didn't have any big problems going on in your life at that point. What was so hard for you? I mean, I'm not saying it's not hard to raise kids no matter how you do it, but dang. Theoretically, it was just the last straw." So I have blocked and unfriended her, and it's really sad because this, you know, I've never seen that side of her quite that bad. She would kind of get on the verge of being that way sometimes about stuff, but she's never just gone at me full bore like that, just like full on, you know, "You're a crappy mom and you don't have any real problems." I've never. Wow. And all I can think is theoretically, hypothetically, maybe she's stressed out because she did a complete 180 over the course of just a couple of days from, "Oh, this is no big deal," to, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world." And she started quoting scripture and saying it was end times, and, you know, oh, she was completely spazzing. So I think it's just stress, possibly. But one thing about all this has made me realize I don't need that in my life. I have started to just eliminate negativity and unnecessary stuff like that from my life. I've been a lot more direct with people. I've been a lot more blunt with people. I don't know. It's just made me look at things differently, I guess. But yeah. So Jane is gone. Laura's fine. I didn't see any reason to do anything to her, but Jane is gone. And it's I'm gonna tell you, it is a nice change. It is a sigh of relief on my part to know that I can go check Facebook and not see her daily lectures about, you know, how no one is taking this seriously enough. But yet she still believes that raising her 2 kids was still worse and harder and more stressful than what's going on right now, at least as far as I'm concerned. She said, "Yeah, all of my stress was just because for the first time ever, I've had to be at home with my children." That's just like the least of my problems. Hypothetically, my kids are doing awesome. They do their work. They get up in the mornings. They do their online work. I get up. I do my work. We all sit down and do our work. We're in separate rooms. We work better that way because we all 3 kind of talk to ourselves while we work, and it's annoying. We get on each other's nerves, but they get along. Everybody kind of does their own thing. One reason why I'm really lucky is that my kids and I are all introverts. We really are. We're fine on our own. We don't need anybody. I mean, we talk to one another. We do things together, but for the most part, we just kind of do our own thing. You know, we're just kind of loners. We just do our own thing, and you know, it's been nice, honestly. I mean, it hasn't been wonderful. We're all bored and we all want to get back to our regular lives, but you know, we're okay. We're doing all right. That is being here with my kids is the least of my concerns because they've actually been really good. They understand the situation. I've been telling them about it since January, not to scare them, but to let them know, look, here's this thing that's going on in the world, and it may impact us. And I just want you to know about it. It may impact us. It may not. I don't know. But here's what I'm doing to prepare. And so I've talked to them all along the way about it. And yeah, the hardest thing is just to find things for to keep them busy. But they do pretty well at that. They love to read. They get on the Xbox. They watch videos or whatever, and Sometimes we'll play a board game or something and do a puzzle or something. But for the most part, they entertain themselves, and we're pretty happy. So it really hurt, honestly. It really hurt that Jane, because I realized at that moment that Jane doesn't know me at all. Jane does not know me at all. And I think that hurt more than what she was actually saying, to realize that this person that I've been friends with for years doesn't even know me. And I've seen other people, just in my friend circle on Facebook. It's pollen. I was outside earlier. I've noticed my other friends on there have, not all of them, but there's been a little drama on there. There have been some flare-ups. There has been some dirty laundry put out there. I'm not going to discuss any of it, but people are getting kind of, it's almost like being cooped up is causing them to become more honest with people. Like, I've more than once I have seen a long text start out with, "Let me tell you something," and it's like, oh, here we go. This might be something you want to put in a phone call, not a Facebook post. I mean, I didn't mean to get into it with Jane on there. All I did was post a funny thing about one of my homeschooled kids being expelled. It was just a joke. I did not mean to get into it with her, and as soon as she said that last thing to me, I just deleted the entire thread and unfriended her and blocked her and was done. Like, we're not doing this out in public like this. And I have not heard from her. She has my phone number and email address, and she has not contacted me to find out why. I know she knows I've done it. Because every now and then she would send me a private message or something, theoretically, and we would chat a little bit. And yeah, I guess the next time she tries to do that, she won't be able to. So, and I've decided if she does ask me about it, I'll tell her straight out. I will be very direct with her and tell her why I did it. So that theoretically happened, and that was hard to deal with. It was a very quick decision, and I knew right away I was going to do it, but that was hard. That was rough. I've been thinking about it all afternoon. I really hate that I had to do that, but I don't regret doing it, and I'm not going to undo it. It's just Facebook. I mean, that's what I came to see. It's just stupid Facebook. Who cares? I don't care. It's just, I wouldn't care if the whole thing disappeared. Just, let it blow away in the wind. It doesn't matter. Okay. 2 other things, theoretical things that may or may not be true. Now, I know I mentioned the rooster. These folks over here got a rooster, and it's a very colorful, proud rooster. I think roosters are beautiful. I love them in pictures, and I don't mind them from a distance. I just don't like them when they're 15 feet from my bedroom window at 4 a.m. crowing when I live in the city. It ain't cool. I checked to find out theoretically, is there anything I can do about this dang rooster? Well, I found out that actually in the city of Greensboro, you can have chickens, but there's something about the placement of the coop. It can't be within a certain number of feet of your neighbor's property line or something. There has to be a fence. You have to have a way to contain the chickens. They cannot get off your property. And you cannot have roosters. No roosters for obvious reasons. Because they're loud. And, well, I said, what do I do if I have a neighbor with a rooster? This thing is driving us bananas. It wakes us all up. It's starting around 4 a.m. Theoretically, every morning it starts crowing, and it crows nonstop for hours. About every 20 to 30 seconds, this darn rooster is crowing right outside of my bedroom window. See what it does? Theoretically, it's hopping up on the fence between my property and theirs. It gets right on the fence. It's like it's taunting me. It gets right on the fence. So it's as close to my bedroom window as it can be, and just crows its full head off starting around 4 a.m. every morning. So I asked I called the city's helpline, and they said, well, you have to call the non-emergency police number and file a noise complaint and tell them it's a rooster. So I theoretically may or may not have done that. Well, I'm looking around like somebody's listening. Ain't nobody in here. Okay, so a police officer showed up possibly yesterday and came to the door and said, got your noise complaint. Gave me some paperwork on it. I said, yes, sir. And I said, it's a rooster over there. And he went over there, and the rooster was nowhere to be found. I said, honestly, I promise you, and my kids both vouched for it and said, we don't sleep. Like, we can't sleep because of that stupid bird. And the officer went over and spoke with Joe and Itchy and Scratchy, theoretically, and asked them about the rooster. Well, they claim to not know anything about a rooster. What rooster? We don't have a rooster. What are you talking about? So the officer comes back over to my place and said, well, they're saying they don't have a rooster. I didn't see one. I can't really do anything if there's no rooster on the property. I can't do anything. He told me, he said, I did tell them you're not allowed to have roosters here. And they said, oh, we know that. We don't have one. Why would we have a rooster? We live in the city. I said, well, I swear to you, I'm not crazy. They have a rooster, and it crows every morning. And he said, well, I'm sorry, but I need some evidence of a rooster. So I'm starting to think like I need a dead rooster. Not that I would do anything, but theoretically, I mean, if a coyote or something came along. You know what I found out? I found out that raccoons will kill a chicken. I did not know that. Did you know, like if they have a fence with a latch on it, the raccoons will work together like in a pack. I don't know what a group of raccoons is called. I have no idea. A group of raccoons will get together, open the gate, and wait for the chickens to come out, and they will rip them apart and eat them. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. I didn't know that raccoons would kill chickens, but apparently they do. Well, now around here, I know it's the city, so to speak, but we have more wildlife here than where I grew up. I grew up out in the middle of the woods. Literally, we were the only house surrounded by forest. We were the only house on the road. A little dirt road. We were the only house surrounded by trees. Out here in the city, let me tell you what we have. We have coyotes. We have foxes, raccoons, deer, squirrels, chipmunks, moles. Evie's killed 4 moles this spring. We have wild dogs. We have packs of wild dogs around here. And all of these creatures, skunks too, all of these creatures come galloping through my property on a regular basis. I've had deer jumping over my fence in the backyard early in the morning. They'll come in here. And they eat grass and stuff, and they'll come through sometimes. So I got to thinking, well, maybe, we have a lot of coyotes here, a lot. They are a real problem in this area. I thought, well, I mean, I'm not rooting for the rooster to die, but, if nature takes its course, there's not much I can do about that. So I started rooting for that. But in the meantime, I'm trying to think of a way to get proof of this dang rooster. I thought, well, that's obvious. That's obvious. Just go out there with your phone and make a video of it. I mean, they can't stop you from doing that if you're on your own property. It's sitting right there on the fence. You can make video of it. Then you can show them that. I don't know what their plans are for this rooster, theoretically, but they have plans for this rooster. They're going to a lot of trouble for this rooster. Now, it's only been over there for about a week or so. No, it's been more than a week now. I'm losing track of the days. I haven't seen Boots. Now, Boots was out there barking at it a few times, but Boots has kind of disappeared. Boots was the one that they wanted to make into an Instagram star or whatever. I think they have switched their focus, theoretically, from Boots to this rooster. I don't know. Maybe they think the rooster is unique. Like, there are plenty of fancy little dogs, but how many fancy little roosters do you see on Instagram? Because they were out there trying to get pictures of it. They were talking about the sun and the way it was shining in on its feathers and making it look, extra glorious. Itchy and Scratchy were taking the pictures because I guess with the current situation, they can't get a photographer to come to the house. They even put a little bow tie on it. I don't know how they did it. They put a little bow tie on that rooster. It was like when you put I think it was like, one of those little things you put on the baby, the little elastic you put on their head with a little bow on it. I think it was like that because it was just kind of draped around its neck. It wasn't tight or anything. They put a bow tie on it and were taking pictures of it in the backyard. But when I came out there, I went out there because I was going to talk to them. I didn't want to, but I thought, this is ridiculous. What? I can't deal with this. I'm in my own version of hell. I've died, and this is hell. This is what it is. Between Trip and the rooster and the screaming kids, and I can't even make videos in stores, which I miss like crazy. I feel like I'm in hell. And my kids are out of school until nobody knows when, indefinitely. As soon as I walked out there, as soon as they saw me, Scratchy grabbed the rooster, theoretically, and Itchy and Scratchy ran into the house. They didn't say anything. It was almost like they had it planned. Like, if you see anybody, you grab that rooster and you run. Because I think they know I called. They know somebody called because the officer told them there had been a noise complaint filed about a rooster. Well, they ran in the house. And now, okay, they have a basement, theoretically. They have a basement. Now in the mornings, when that thing starts crowing, you will hear it crow maybe 3 times. 4, maybe. And then you'll hear a bunch of squawking and cackling and going on and flapping and just general mayhem, and then it stops. The first time I heard it, I thought a coyote had gotten it or a fox or something. I said, holy hell, something got it. Because it sounded like something just nabbed it and ate it for breakfast. That's what it sounded like to me. No, because and I was just about to drift back off to sleep, and I hear this muffled, they put the rooster in the basement. They're keeping it in the basement when it starts crowing. So it's still crowing, but it's muffled. You can still hear it though. And it crows off and on pretty much all day. He's quiet right now. He was actually kind of quiet this afternoon, but he's still over there because every now and then you'd still hear it. So what I'm saying is they're going to a lot of trouble for this rooster. Okay? They're getting up at, dark 30 to get this rooster and put him in the basement when he starts crowing, and they leave him down there because they know if anybody gets proof of it, they're going to lose their rooster. So I think theoretically, I hate to crush their dreams of having an Instagram star that's a rooster, but I believe I'm just going to have to go out there before he starts crowing and see if I can get video of it, or at least get audio of it, and find some way to show that, yeah, it's like I could turn on an outside light or something and show, yeah, you can see this is their backyard and this is my backyard and here's the rooster. I wasn't making it up. So theoretically, at this point, the rooster's still over there. I don't know what its name is. I guarantee you they've given it a name. I've given it a name, but I can't say what it is on here because I cuss at it and I don't want to say that. But I have a name for it. Okay, so I'm still dealing with the rooster, but I think, hypothetically, I may have a plan to get proof that he's over there. And I think once I get the proof, I have the officer's card. So he said, if you get, let me know if you can show me that the rooster's there for real. Because he said until I have proof, I can't do anything. All right. The other thing, the main thing I wanted to tell you about was the dudes in trucks. Okay, this is weird. All right, now I told you, theoretically, possibly, the last time I went by there, they had stacked pallets up like a wall around the hole. There's this giant hole out in the middle of a field. And every day, but only during the week, Monday through Friday, all these dudes in these big pickup trucks, like 30 of them, there would be a line of trucks, like 30 trucks going down, parked on the side of the road. These dudes with hard hats and tool belts would go out there and stand around and just look at the hole. I never saw anybody do anything. Now, this went on for weeks, and nothing ever happened. And then once all this, the pestilence got to going around, they disappeared. The dudes in trucks put up a wall of pallets around the hole, and they took off. They were gone. Well, I figured whatever they were doing, they must just, okay, well, it's been put on hold. They're not going to work on it. Because they didn't come back. They were gone all week last week. Well, this morning, I got a message from my younger son's teacher that they were starting a new unit in history, and she had some books that she needed parents to come by the school to pick up. And the school was shut down effectively, and we're not allowed any contact with anybody. So she was going to put the books in bins outside the school under the shelter, the little area out there, like a little carport kind of thing. So I was driving to the school to get the books, and I happened to go by the hole. The dudes in trucks were back, but they were parked in a totally different area. Now, I don't know what the significance of that is, theoretically. Now, normally, they would park on the road just right at the hole. So, they would park as close as they could get to it and walk to the hole and stand there drinking coffee and just looking at it. And they'd do that from about 7:30 in the morning to about 4:30 in the afternoon, and then they get in their trucks and drive away. I never saw anybody do anything. Well, I rode by there today. It was about 10 o'clock this morning. And I noticed, the first thing I noticed was not the trucks, because the trucks were not parked there. What I noticed was all the pallets were gone. They were gone. And the dudes were out there. There were about 30 dudes out there, and it was the first time I ever saw them do anything. They had a flatbed truck loaded down with these landscaping timbers. And they were taking the timbers off the truck and carrying them over to the hole and stacking them next to the hole. But their trucks were nowhere to be found. It was the same dudes. I think. I don't know. It looked like the same dudes. They had on hard hats, tool belts. It's like a standard uniform. They all wear like a plaid shirt and jeans. That's just how they all dress. They look like the brawny man, kind of. Well, I went right by there. I didn't have to, but I did theoretically. And hypothetically, I stopped right next to the flatbed truck, and I rolled my window down, and there was a guy getting landscaping timbers off the truck. And I said, "Hey, excuse me, can I ask you something? What are y'all doing?" And as soon as I asked him that, his face just went like just stone cold, like there was no expression. And he just turned and walked back to the truck. He didn't say a word to me. He just went right back to work. He didn't answer me. I know he heard me, because he was smiling when I walked up, and he was close enough to hear me. And then his face just went cold, and he just turned and went back to the truck and was continued taking the landscaping timbers off and helping the other dudes stack them around the hole. It was weird. It was really weird. And they were all out there working. Normally they're smiling and laughing and talking. They weren't doing any of that. They were just steady working. Well, I just went on to school, got the books. Now, I was not gone on the way to the school, theoretically. So I go on up the road about a mile. All their trucks were parked about a mile up the road. And it was the dudes in trucks. I know these trucks. I have seen them for weeks. It's the dudes in trucks. Parked on the road about a mile away from the hole where they were working. It was so dang weird. Theoretically, And so I don't know why they would have parked so far away. Maybe they started working over there, but it seems like to me what I would have done, because I'm lazy, if I started working a mile away, when we finished that, I'd get in my truck and drive over to the hole and do whatever we needed to do over there. That's just me. But every one of them left their truck over there. All the trucks were lined up on the side of the road about a mile away. I've never seen them do that before, theoretically. That was weird. So now they're not even speaking to me. Now, the last time I spoke to one of them, and I was really nervous to do it. I don't know why, but I was really scared to ask them what they were doing. I was afraid they were going to either shoot me or kidnap me or something for asking. Like, well, now you've seen us, we have to kill you. But the last time I asked, and it was a different guy, theoretically, he said, "We're with the pipeline, ma'am. We're with the pipeline." "Well, what are you doing?" And he just, "Have a good day, ma'am." And he tipped his little hard hat to me and walked off. That's all he would say was, "We're with the pipeline." This guy wouldn't even say that. So it's really weird. The porta potties are back. And I don't know what they're doing with all those landscaping timbers, but they had a ton of them. I'm talking like a whole flatbed truck of landscaping timbers. Okay, now I was not gone from there 20 minutes. Okay, I had to go up to the school, get the books, and then come back by. When I came back by, all the men were gone. I mean, the dudes. The trucks were still there. The dudes were gone. There wasn't a single dude, not one dude. No dudes. And the landscaping timbers were basically just left right where they were when I came by the first time. So theoretically, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's in that hole. I have not walked up there to look at it. I'm almost afraid it's booby trapped or something. Like, you can't go there. They usually have it taped off. Like, you can't go over there. I don't know what the tape says, but there's this yellow tape kind of around the area. And it's not right on the road, so I can't just casually stroll over there. All the dudes were gone. There were about 30 of them, and they were all gone. I don't know where they went. I know they weren't all in the porta potty. If they were, it got really uncomfortable in there. So the mystery of this hole just grows. Theoretically, it deepens. No pun intended, but it does. I don't understand it. But it's given me something to think about during all this time I've had at home. Yeah, I don't know. But that is the last interesting thing, theoretically, that may or may not have happened possibly in my neighborhood since we last talked. I still hope to get the video done tonight that I want to do, but I wanted to give you a little update on everything while I was thinking about it. So I hope that you're doing okay. It's I know it's a stressful time. I'm stressed out too. I just try to keep my mind off of it and keep busy, because there's really not much else I can do at this point. So, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.